Hi everybody and welcome. So today's topic, I was thinking about the lie that we live of staying for the sake of others. So many relationships that we get into where we recognize after we've been in it for a hot minute, oh, this is actually not where I'm supposed to be. This is actually not good. It looked good. I thought it was good. I got into it because it was good. But now that I'm in it, I am recognizing that I feel really uncomfortable here. And I don't feel safe. I don't feel protected. I don't feel valued. And slowly over time, you start to notice how it is killing your spirit, sucking your energy. You're feeling drained and exhausted by the end of the day. So my name is Sarah Kostrup, and I am the lead visionary and life strategist at Liberated Badass. And I've been a clinical therapist for the past 20 years, helping people get unstuck and free from the things that hold us back from living the life that we most long to live. So this is one of the lies that we believe and have been trained and conditioned toward believing over a lifetime, myself included. This belief that we need to stay no matter what, and that there are other people depending on us that we have to consider before we make a change. Even though we know that we need to make a change, we need to separate, we need to part from this relationship that is literally killing you. And instead, for most of us, we stay anyway. And we learn to live with this miserable feeling inside, while oftentimes on the outside pretending like everything is fine. We put on a mask, which is kind of ironic. It's the quarantine time right now, right? And so we're actually visibly wearing these masks. And so for me, I remember and am triggered to remember and love studying people. So it's such a visible visual of how we wear a mask to protect what's really going on inside of us. And you think that somehow this mask that you're wearing is protecting you, right? Now that's a whole nother conversation to have, but is it really protecting you? How much can the mask really protect you from the elements, from the exposure, right? From the vulnerability. So this belief that we stay because you can't leave until you have X, Y, and Z all figured out, again, adds to our, it's fueling the illusion that we have some sense of certainty, and that if we figure out X, Y, and Z, this leap that we're going to take to get out of this situation and into something new, somehow it makes it feel like it's more certain, like it's less risky if we have X, Y, and Z figured out. Now, the reality is nothing is certain. We just don't have that kind of certainty. The only thing that's certain right now is that you're miserable and that you're feeling this tired pull inside of you, and you know there's something better for you. You know that life isn't meant to be lived like this, and yet you keep doing it. And so you're fueling this part of you, this feeding the part of you that's establishing what life is meant to be like, right? And so we keep living this life that we want to be living, but we keep living in this way that's confusing ourselves, and it's causing us to doubt, do we want to be living? Because this kind of sucks. And so we get into this state of thinking, man, is this it? Is this it? I've worked this hard to get to here and be miserable. I have worked so hard. You have worked so hard. Years that you have put in the effort and done the hard work, and you're here and you're feeling that inner dread. And it's like that kind of dread that you hate to even talk about, which is why I talk about it as secretly miserable. Because in my life, I didn't fully realize. If someone had said to me early on that I was miserable, I would have been like, no, I'm not. But I would become numb. I had become numb, and I had come up with all different kinds of coping skills to be able to manage my numb. Perhaps you can relate to that. the many ways that we come up with coping skills to be able to manage our numb. Drinking, eating, shopping, spending, relationships, sex. So like 1,000 different ways that we accommodate for our uncomfortable and make it so that things are okay. So we don't have to feel the pain, and we can bring it to a level of numb where we can get through, we can survive. So staying for the sake of others is one of those many lies that we tell ourselves that makes it seem like, okay, I can't leave because I've got these other people depending on me. When the reality is they already know you're miserable, and you're actually bringing them more pain and confusion by you staying in the miserable, because they can pick it up in your energy. They know, just like you know when something is off with them, they know when something is off with you. And yet you're putting on that mask, that front that says, oh no, everything's fine, I'm totally good, and I'm gonna make it work until I figure something else out. And so I can remember back in my life, in one of the relationships that I was in, and I was sitting at dinner with my niece, and I was commenting on this relationship, my job at the time, and out of nowhere, she looked at me and was like, Auntie, you have been talking about that situation at work for quite some time now. It's clearly not good for you. When are you leaving? Now, I was a super put together person, and so to have my 15-year-old niece pick up on what was really going on inside of me and call me out like that was a serious, sobering moment where I was like, shit, I need to get my shit together, because I do not want to be giving her my miserable. That was my deepest concern at that moment, was I do not want to be giving her my miserable. And I thought I was protecting her from my miserable by staying, because the uncertainty after, right, the certainty out there felt way more scary than my staying. And so I thought I was protecting her from me like needing or being in a worse situation if I left. And so I quickly realized, no, I'm actually hurting her more by my staying. And I'm gonna have to leap into this great unknown and uncertainty, because it's the way that I'm ultimately going to save myself and save her. I could not see that to start out with. So I wanna offer you 3 tips to be able to make a plan, figuring out in any unhealthy relationship, but definitely if it's a work relationship or a love relationship, figure out how much money you need, base money that you need to be able to live for X period of time for you to be able to survive. Not what money you want to be making, but what money you absolutely need to live. 2, set a date. How much longer are you willing to be in this unhealthy relationship? How much longer are you willing to allow it to impact you negatively at this level and drain you from the life that you want to be living? Set a date. You're going to leave by X date for sure. And then sit down and write down as many ideas as you can come up with of things that you could do different. Alternate plans, people you know, connections you have, networks you're a part of, all the ideas of ways that you can be putting your message out there, that you're leaving this relationship and you need X, Y, and Z. And then start talking to literally everyone about it. This is basically what I did as I exited several relationships over the past years to be able to get to the other side. So set your base number, your base salary of how much you need to live. Make a date, set a date for when you're leaving, and write out a plan of all the connections that you have, all the possible opportunities that are actually right in front of you. The result of doing this is it frees up your mind to start operating over in the liberated state. Because right now you're in the miserable state. And when you're in the miserable state, you can't see the beauty of the liberation that's waiting for you. You can't see because it looks so scary, so uncertain, so unclear, because you just literally can't see it. So clearing out the path to be able to see what's over there waiting for you. And the people around you will thank you for it. In the end, you will be saving yourself and in turn saving them. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. I would love to chat with you more. Drop it here into the comments if you would like to connect more. I have tons of free value that I can send over to you, and I look forward to hearing from you. And in the meantime, go do that thing you most want to be doing today, and I'll talk to you soon.